Okay, well, good afternoon. My clock says 12 o'clock. If somebody can just verify that you can hear me, we will start our presentation. Just give us a thumbs up or a note in the chat. Yes? Okay. Okay, very good. All right. Well, welcome to our informational session today. I am Sharon Duffy. I am the Research Services Librarian, and I'm here with Matthew Foles. He is our Scholarly Communications Librarian. And today our presentation is titled Introduction to SPIN Database to Search for Funding Opportunities. All right, so here's an outline of the presentation today. I'm going to cover the first part. I'm going to talk about what is a SPIN database, how to access it, what's in a SPIN record, the information that you can get about funding opportunities. And then I'm going to review different ways to search the SPIN database by text, by keyword, or the advanced search. And then I'm going to talk about then I'm going to turn it over to Matt, and he's going to cover saving a search and creating alerts, sharing SPIN records and exporting the results to for yourself or to share with others. And then we're going to talk about other ways that the library can support your efforts in finding grants. Just a note about our slides. I know Chandler shared the slides in the chat for the meeting. They have a lot more detailed information and meant to be more as a reference. A lot of that is going to be covered with a live demo. So a lot of screenshots for later, but watching the class, you'll see it all from the database. Okay, so what is SPIN? This is a new database that that we are offering. It is a product of the InfoEd Global company, and it is paid for by the LSU Health New Orleans libraries. And it is a very extensive database of research funding opportunities. It tracks over 40,000 different opportunities from over 10,000 sponsors, whether they be governments, foundations, or other. It covers a wide variety of types of opportunities, from grants and fellowships, training opportunities, limited submissions for institutions. It has some nice features. It is regularly maintained and updated, so you can be assured that it is fresh all the time. And the kind of the power in it is that you can set up a nice customized search, set it up to receive those alerts, and then not really have to worry about the database anymore. You can kind of go in, get it set up, and then let it run on auto and just receive those alerts when new things are added that fit your criteria. And we're going to show you how to do all of those things today. Okay, so how to access it. It's going to be accessible from the library webpage. You would click on our databases icon, which will take you to our ABC list. And then you would click on S, and that would open up. You'd scroll down to the SPIN funding database. You do see this link here for registration required, and that is true. I'm going to jump to the next slide. This is where you do have to create an account to use SPIN. The only rule is that you have to use your LSUHSC email address. So you would go into this page, search for our institution. We are listed as Louisiana State University, Health Sciences Center, New Orleans. You would fill out this information and then submit your request. It will be approved by the SPIN admins, which are myself and Matt. So we receive those emails, we will approve it. The only thing we look for is the correct email, and then we will verify that it is not a duplicate account. Sometimes we've had people forget that they set up accounts 6 months ago and already have an account. And we also have power to reset passwords and that kind of thing. So if you have any problems with your SPIN account, just reach out to us and we can help. All right, so this is just a picture of the SPIN homepage. It's a very clean, simple interface. Well, I'm going to review the menus, and I just want to point out one of the first filters that they offer here is the opportunity to exclude U.S. federal opportunities. If you are already monitoring those resources from somewhere else, you can simply turn that off and only see different things. Or if you want to get everything in one place, you certainly can leave it on. But that's just their first filter that they offer. All right, so now I am going to jump in and we're going to start to demo the database. Okay. All right. So we are actually using one of our colleagues' login because Matt and I are administrators, so our screens just look a little different. So we are logged in as one of our colleagues. All right. So I am going to jump into the text search, which normally would come up with that default. There we go. So this is what you'll see when you come in. And I'm just going to do a simple basic search for breast cancer, just to kind of show you what it looks like. So you put your thing in, and I'm going to remove all my other filters just to show you what it looks like from the default. We had some other filters set up, but we're going to go back to the beginning. And this is what you would see. And we'll put our search in and locate funding. Okay, so I see that there are 57 results that are found that include breast cancer somewhere in the record. So let's take a look at one of them. All right, so I'm going to make this, can I make it full screen? There we go. Make it full screen and maybe zoom it in a little bit. Okay. All right, so when you see a funding opportunity, the overview kind of has just a summary, basic, important information, the deadline, who's eligible, a link to the website for more information, more details about the eligibility. And I see in this one that one of the requirements is that you be located in New York. So the good thing about Spin is that there are nice filters and preferences that you can set up that will help you focus on the ones that you are eligible for. And I'm going to show you how to use that, and then you would not waste your time on opportunities that you're not eligible for. More information about the funding, deadline information, sponsor information, and then the keywords. And I want to point these out because they're an important part of the Spin database. Every record that's entered into Spin is tagged with some kind of keywords, usually multiple keywords. And there's a search mode that will search on these, and I'm going to demo that later in the presentation. But I just want to show you where those show up in the record. All right, a couple other things. You can bookmark a program quickly. So you can create a group and save this into a folder, essentially, that you can kind of grab all the ones that you're interested in and then share them out later. The other thing you can do from here is email. You can email as HTML with all the links, or you can email as text. And so it would come from you. You can put more than one person in here, just separate them by a comma. Oops. And then there's ways to customize the information that goes into the email. Matt is going to show you that later, but just know that all of this can be sent out. This would be a way you can only email one opportunity at a time. There's ways to export on a larger scale, and we'll show you that later. Okay, so that's a record. Now I'm going to show you some of those filters that I mentioned. Okay, I'm going to Okay. All right. So we know that this one was not one that we were eligible for. So there's this preferences menu where we can start to put some filters on to make this a little more useful for the individual user. So the first field it allows you to do is location. So sometimes it's a little slow to load. So I'm going to type in Louisiana just to kind of show you what this looks like. And I see that it's a term, so I'm going to select it. So now this has moved over into here. So now I will see opportunities. I've let them know that I'm in Louisiana, and I can save that filter. So now my results have dropped to 40. So, which is good because I don't want to see things that I'm not eligible for. There's other filters that you can add. If we go back to that same menu, along the top here, there's applicant type. So if you're doing this for yourself or you're doing this for an institution, you can filter by that for individual or organization options. If you're looking for specific project types, project locations, where the work is going to be done, you can narrow by that. You can specify the citizenship. Again, this is a global database. So if it's only eligible to citizens of a certain country, then you would want to filter by that as well. So just a lot of power. And if you don't put any filters on, it says here, if nothing is selected, then the system will not filter on this field and everything will get through. So this is maybe a little trial and error. If you're running searches and you're seeing a lot of things that you're not qualified for, come back and revisit these filters and see if there's a way you can narrow to see things that are more relevant to you. And of course, always reach out to us for help. Okay, a couple other filters that they offer on this preferences menu. Again, including or excluding those U.S. federal opportunities, limited submission opportunities. You can change your display currency. And in here, there's a couple other, you can see just new opportunities. Anytime you navigate off a search page, it's going to ask you if you want to save your search or come back or not. So right now, I'm just going to continue. I don't think I need to save this. I'll come back to it. You can just view new ones. So this is anything that's been added in the last 7 days. However, if you have set up a search with your filters, then you don't have to worry about this. You would have gotten an email alert anytime something new is added. So these are already integrated into the database and you're seeing those alerts. This is more just for browsing, or if you're on a not looking for something specific, but at a higher level, this would be a place to browse for new opportunities. There's also a similar filter for things with close deadlines in the next 2 months. Again, less relevant if you have your searches set up with your filters. Okay. All right, so I'm going to return to my slides and start to talk about the searching modes. If there's any questions, you can throw them into the chat and we have somebody monitoring it. Okay, so I'm going to jump to the filters. Okay, now I'm going to talk about searching. Okay, so Spin offers 3 different ways to search the database. First is the text search, and that's what we did. It's the default. You just put in your whatever you're looking for. It searches every record, every field in that record. So when we looked at that whole record, it would search sponsor, it would search the synopsis, it would search the keywords, it searches the title, it searches everything. That's going to be your broadest search. This is the one that most people are probably going to use, and it's fine. It's a great way to search. The keyword search, I will demo this. It uses, you can search just on those keywords from that we saw at the bottom of the record. It gives you a little more focused. All of the results would have to be tagged with your keyword, which results in more focused results. And then there's the advanced. You can get very, very specific and detailed. We recommend, you're welcome to play with this, but if you require that level of detail, please reach out to us and we are happy to help you with that. So it's available, but I'm not really going to spend too much time on it. A few more words about the text search. It's kind of nice. It does give you some basic variations of a term. So if you type in science, it'll look for simple variations, similar for the word test. It'll do plurals, basic other spellings automatically, kind of behind the scenes. You can also use ands and ors to customize it. So when we put in breast cancer, it was looking for both of those terms. When we look, if we wanted to use an or, it would expand it to include either of those words. If you're looking for a specific phrase, put it in quotation marks. That would require those words to be right next to each other. And then it also has truncation. So this is a more advanced way of finding variations. I could find childhood, children, childish, anything that begins with that word child. So it just expands it a little bit more. Search help is available on the database. If you go to the help menu, go to search help, whatever search mode you're in, you can get more information from the database. Okay, so now the keyword search. It has a different interface. It requires you to select the keywords. There's more than 3,500 terms in their list. You can use and or. Just note that or is the default. So when you're selecting keywords, it's going to search for all of them. And this offers 2 ways, both Explorer and Searcher. I'm going to focus on the Searcher because we find that one a little more user-friendly. So I'm going to return to the database to show that. Okay. I'm not going to save. Okay. I'm going to go to keyword search. All right. So when you're in this mode, it won't even let you type in this box. You have to select keywords. All right. So I'm going to go to the searcher mode and I'm going to do my breast cancer search. And I see breast cancer is a keyword. And then you do the show the subset. It should pull it here. And then I can save this. This doesn't have any other terms associated with it. So I'm going to just save it. And I'm going to show you what it does to our search. So there are 17. Remember, my earlier results was 57 for the general search. Then it was 40 when I limited to Louisiana. And it says I still have that filter activated. So so this is comparing to the 40 that I got before. When I'm only searching keywords, 17 of the records are tagged with breast cancer, meaning it is a subject and definitely about the opportunity versus just being mentioned in it somewhere. Either way is fine, but this is, you can see it is more focused. Let's see, and then I can show you the Explorer real quick. I'm going to clear that one out. And so Explorer is better if you're more doing a broad search. You can say we're in the medical sciences, you're looking for a discipline, and then it shows it here, but this is actually where you would pick your terms. You can select multiple terms here. You can select them all and then save and continue. So this is maybe if you need help identifying a keyword. Otherwise, I find the searcher mode a little bit easier to use. Okay, so I'm going to clear out of that. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show, back into our search mode, is the search results page. When you're in this page, you can search or you can organize by ABC order or reverse just by clicking on the title of the column. And every column has these filters. So if you wanted to filter your results, I only have 40 on here, but maybe you have many, many more. And you want to filter maybe for a certain date range or a certain funding amount. I only want ones that are less than $1 million. You can filter by that. It doesn't show it up here, but it shows down here that there were 33. So just know that that's a way to search or filter within the result set. And then down here, you can change the display to however many you want to show on the page. Okay. And I think that is the end of my portion. I'm going to hand it over to Matt. And if there's any questions, we have a few moments while we switch speakers.
Well, thanks, Sharon. Do we have any questions? Nothing in the chat? Okay, cool. So once again, I'm Matt Foles, and I'm the Scholarly Communications Librarian. So now that my colleague has shown y'all how to complete a search and engage with Spin's like array of tools, I'm going to show you a little bit more what you can sort of do with a search. So now that we've done these searches, what can you do with the results? And then I'm also going to talk mostly about the remainder of these tabs. You can see these screenshots are done. We're an administrator, so you have this extra little administration ribbon up here. But right back into the database itself. And let's say I'm interested in saving a search. So I've engaged it. I've located my funding. I'm going to hit save. Search name, let's just call it breast cancer. And the other important part of this menu, do you want to receive email updates? You can choose either HTML or plain text. Additionally, you can see choose how often you get updated, either daily or weekly. I'm not going to make those options right now. I'm just going to hit save. And you can see the search breast cancer has been saved. When you save these, you do save those searches with those additional filters. So the next thing I'm going to show off under saved searches is let's go to manage our saved searches. So whenever you navigate away, it's going to ask if you want to save this search just in case you haven't. We already have, so we're just going to hit continue. And you can see the breast cancer search I've saved, the date I created it, the last time I used it. I haven't run this search because I just saved it. And you can even sort all of your saved searches this way. But let's say I'm done with this search. I no longer need it. It's as easy as hitting that delete button. You can save your changes. It's going to give you that little red thing. But usually there we go. It works. And then we can also go look at our public searches. So my colleague Sharon and I have gone on Mel's behalf and just went through some of the relevant keyword searches and created public searches that anyone is free to run. Anyone with an account can see these public searches if you go to this saved searches tab and then go to the public searches. You can run them. If you press right here, it'll ask, do you want to load this criteria? Now, because these searches were saved with a specific filter, excluding U.S. federal opportunities, when that search loads, it will overwrite any of your previous filters that you have active and load the saved filters for that saved search. So if we load search, we can see if we go to our active filters that we're excluding the U.S. federal, and there's no longer that Louisiana option saved in here. So now let's go to our funding alerts. Whoop, I accidentally deleted that search a little prematurely, but if you let's go back to our text, quick locate. I'm going to save changes. Now we're going to go to our funding alerts. You can see that you can even see as from the drop-down menu, the saved searches that you have. You can't select them, unfortunately. You can just go to manage funding alerts. It's going to ask you if you want to save. We're going to hit continue. And you just get that same bottom menu you have in that save feature from the search function. And you can still choose daily or weekly, but you get one additional option from this menu you don't get, which is if you're interested in receiving an RSS update as opposed to an HTML or a plain text email. The other thing we want to do is look at our bookmarks. As you're navigating Spin and you're finding opportunities, you can bookmark them individually. You see here, I've already bookmarked one from a previous breast cancer search. This is one Sharon looked at this record earlier. You hit this little drop-down arrow and it shows you in this saved group which opportunities you have added to that specific group. And these are separate from the saved searches themselves, but you can name them similar things if you want to organize it that way. If you're not interested in this bookmark anymore, maybe you've applied to it or the time has come and gone and it's still sitting in here, we can always just hit this delete button and it's gone. We can save our changes. And we can even add new bookmark groups from here if we want. And we can even delete this bookmark group if we're done with it. Save our changes again. Well, it'll go through it out. Sometimes it just gives that, yeah. So that's the way we can look at that. There are also public bookmarks. So once again, Sharon and I as administrators can go through and flag opportunities that any researcher can then see from this page. We made this breast cancer bookmark group just as an example. And then we just, once again, hit this drop down arrow. You can see that we bookmarked this opportunity. You can't delete it from here. Right, again, this is a public thing. So Sharon or I could go in our back end and delete it from there, which we will after this. The other major thing to remember to talk about next is how we're going to actually export these searches now that we've kind of talked about saving a search, these funding alerts, and these bookmarks. We want to know about exporting all this data. So there are default options within Spin. So when you're exporting something, this is the basic information that you'll receive about an opportunity on the right. But you can also add any of this information. Or you can subtract from the right here if you think this is too much. You don't need any of this. You just, but knowing things like project location or citizenship restrictions could be useful. So you can add, and then you would hit save and exit if I wanted to remove the same thing. I could add everything if I wanted from the left side to the right side, and then I would get all of that data, but we don't have to do that. So I'm just going to exit out of here so it won't save any of this information, but that's just to show you all of those export data options that we could hypothetically go through. So now let's go back and engage a search one last time. So just like Sharon showed, we can select the individual opportunity itself. And as part of this email, we can send it. It'll come from you, the individual. You can edit the subject. If you're going to email to more than one person, just like Sharon said, make sure you're separating those emails with a comma as opposed to a semicolon or another piece of punctuation or another type of punctuation. You can come in here and edit the text of this opportunity. You can come in and do any of that you would like. So feel free to do that if you want to. And then when you're ready to, you would enter those emails and hit send, and it will usually appear in your inbox or in the individual's inbox in a few moments. So now let's actually export a few of these opportunities and sort of see what they look like. So I'll just grab a few of these from this main search page. The rightmost column has these little check boxes that you can fill as I've just done. And at the very top of the column is this export button. When I select it, you'll get this additional menu will appear. You can export into two different software, Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Word. You can either get what they call a summary, which is kind of a much more simplified report, or you can get a detailed report into either of those. And I'm going to show a screenshot of what each one of these will look like. But as an example, I'm going to just hit the summary for the Microsoft Excel and hit export. So instead of an email or something else, this will just download through your browser. You see it's gone into my browser downloads up here. Hit Control J. You can see it again. And that's what it will name the Excel file that you would see. So that's most of all the additional functions that you can find here. There's also a little help tab, but so feel free to navigate that at your own leisure. We're just going to move back quickly into the remainder of my slides. So this very top, you see this is a summary of in an Excel file versus the bottom, which is a detailed using that default export options. There's no additional data being exported about those opportunities. And then this is what they look like in Word, a summary report above and a detailed report on the bottom. And additionally, you can always go back and find these slides on our grants and funding page. If you want to learn more about SPIN and everything else the libraries can offer, go look at our other research guides. You can find information about contacting us so that we can set up custom searches in SPIN. And if you're, as you're going through the grant and funding application process, the libraries can also assist with data management plans. Sharon and I are the data service librarians. We would work with you individually. So we just got a question about how we can support individuals. I mean, it would depend on the grant funding and the requirements. If it's like an NIH grant, there are specific funding requirements.
No, we do more just helping you complete the plan. Some people come to us and don't know what they have to do. So some libraries do, we never have been asked. So we could help, but generally mostly we just provide assistance with finding the tools and giving completing that part of the process.
Yeah, and we have examples of grant writing applications and texts and things like that available in the library for people to check out, read, and from previous events that have been held here in the past, like just this past spring. But that's pretty much it for today's presentation. If you'd please scan this QR code on the very left and give a very short, it's a very short just options, select their feedback of today's presentation. You can also follow the library's Instagram for more day-to-day updates and other events being hosted in the library and other information sessions, and then just general email blast that the library sends out. You can join our email list and hear about all sorts of other information, new resources, and these other informations that we host. One more time, I'm Matthew Foles, a scholarly communications librarian, and shout out to my colleague Sharon Duffy, who did the first part of this presentation, our research services librarian, and my fellow data services librarian as well. So if we have any other questions, we can answer them as they fill in. Yep, sorry.
Looks like the title of the grant is hyperlinked. Where was that going to?
The title of the grant is hyperlinked. So, oh yeah, so we just got a question. When the opportunity is emailed, they said it appears that the grant itself is hyperlinked. Well, let's go, or just in the export itself. I mean, I guess we can technically open one and test it and see what it looks like. Yeah, I think it just opens the record itself, I believe. Yeah.
Or doesn't have access to skill?
Yes, no, I guess you could not email to someone outside of, I'm not even sure someone who doesn't have an LSUH. I guess if they had their own instance of Spin, I guess anyone who pays for Spin sees all the same information as far as I'm aware. Yeah, no, yeah, you'd have to have access to Spin, the software itself, to be able to see the opportunities. So you couldn't share them outside of that.
They could probably see it up.
Yeah, they could find the contact and other information of the opportunity. So you could share all the grant information. They just couldn't, yeah, open that hyperlink and get that report through Spin, the software or the database. Yeah. Yeah, it just drops down this arrow and then it just gives, yes, I guess we never dropped this arrow down. It just gives that same details that you would see in that export. This is basically the same information.
I guess it's.
Yeah. So anything that's a link in here, like I believe the sponsor website and stuff does export as a link. Yeah.
That, on the right with the checkbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just good about that.
But there is no select all.
There's no select all to export. No, you need to select individual opportunities. Yeah. I guess not, but we can certainly. I mean, we've contacted them. Sharon has in the past about something while we were working on this presentation. So they seem to at least respond pretty promptly. So we could, I guess, ask certainly. Yeah. Yeah. It is, but it only opens this menu. No. Do you have any other, or does that answer? Do we have other questions in the chat at all or nothing? Okay. Anybody else while we're here? No? All right. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm going to end the session here.